Hi, hey everyone. Okay, where is everyone at? Okay, I'm just trying to get the Periscope on and the Facebook Live on. Okay, I think I'm in business. All right. How's everyone doing? It's Friday, TGIF. Woo! Hey, Oni79. So let's see, I'm in the Periscope and I'm in Facebook Live. So many things to keep open. All right, we got a lot of people in the house. How's everyone doing today? Good, good, good. Let me just make sure that the YouTube is streaming, and then we will be good to go, and I will start the show. Hey. Your list.
That's right.
And then I have each act of courage kind of builds on the next act, and they start developing true core. Hello. Hi, Periscopers. Confidence and inner strength. And then they look back and they're like, wow, I can't believe I was kind of still understanding the quirks of this broadcasting system. So if you just bear with me just another minute, then I'm trying to find my YouTube stream, and then we'll go from there, just so I can make sure that I get everybody's comments in. I don't like to ignore anyone. I was ignoring by accident. I was ignoring the Periscopers the other day on my other broadcast. So I want to make sure anyone feels ignored. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing the YouTube, but I'm just going to go ahead and hang out with the Periscopers for now. Hey everybody, it's DeAnna Lorraine, and I am in fabulous Las Vegas right now. That's what the view is. Although it's a bummer because you can't really see from the Periscope, from the video. You can't really see it, but it's a beautiful view. Let's see if maybe I can try to show you a little bit more of it. But it's a beautiful view of fabulous Las Vegas. We got the Caesar's Palace right across the street. And what else do we have? We have a lot of cool things. Woohoo! It's a very pretty view, and it's a very pretty hotel room. Whoops, my bed's kind of messy. But I'm here in Las Vegas for a TV show. I will be on a show right after this called The Patriot and the Preacher. Yay, The Patriot and the Preacher. So to the viewers, if you want post-show discussion, join our Discord. Yes. Okay, my hair got a little messed up from that little tour there, and I can't have my hair look messed up. How's everything looking? What happens in Vegas? Yes, 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 I know. We'll talk about what's happening in Vegas. But for now, everyone, I'm DeAnna Lorraine. I am the red-pilled relationship coach, patriot, and defender of our American values. I'm the author of my new book, Making Love Great Again, which I'm going to bring. Where did it go? And I'm so excited that I've partnered with the New Right Network to broadcast live every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9:30 a.m. on the New Right Network. And what do we talk about on our show? Well, we are knee-deep in a romance apocalypse. Woo! There are more single adults than ever before. Marriage is on the decline. The birth rate is at the lowest point in history. I don't know if you know this, but it's actually below replacement level. And people are not connecting and forming real relationships. For the first time in human history, the very concepts of marriage, romance, God, the family, and even gender are under attack. Men and women are on opposite sides, and our American values have been slowly deteriorating and replaced with liberal, progressive values. We are in the middle of not only the romance apocalypse, but a war on our very souls. Speaking the truth is now called hate speech. Patriotism is now called racism. Believing in God is now called bigotry. The current state of America is directly intertwined to our current state of our relationships, is it not? We are actively enslaving ourselves into a loveless, joyless, genderless future if we keep going on the track that progressives want us to go. Men and women of common sense and a moral compass need to wake up to this destructive madness that is thrust upon us in the name of political correctness and progressiveness, and really look ahead to where this agenda is ultimately taking us, and it is no bueno. We can make love great again. We can make America great again. But we need to remember our values. We need to remember the spirit and the values that once made our country so great. Right, hold on. Let me grab my book real quick, guys. Here's my book. I love it. So you know what's funny is that I was out last night in Las Vegas, and I was just hanging out at a bar on my laptop, actually preparing for today's shows, and then I get approached by a couple. They're a really nice Scottish or Irish couple, super nice, super sweet. And they just started talking to me about their relationship. And I started telling them about my book because I had my book out. And, you know, and they were talking about how they got together. They found each other on an online dating site. But they were the cutest couple. They were so cute. They were just so in love, and they were hilarious together, super fun. And they just said, you know, the most important thing is it's do you have a great time together? Do you love each other? But it's not just someone that you can live with. It's really about who can you not live without? And I think that they're very right. Who can you not live without? Very true. Mike says, sorry to say, but people not having children in big numbers might be a good thing. I agree. I mean, I do agree. I think that people, we do need the population down a little bit. So I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing in the world to not have everyone having babies. But I do think that, we should focus on the reasons why, though. I mean, yes, it's good that less people are having babies, maybe, and we don't need huge amounts of people having babies, especially, I feel like that. I'm going to close the window a little bit so that we can get a better lighting in here. Okay. If you turn them lights, that rock will sparkle better. More lighting, kind of dark. Okay. Okay, cool. So what's happening this week? Well, number one, it is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Did you guys know that? National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Well, most people wouldn't know that because it's rarely publicized and nobody really talks about it on TV or anything. We talk a hell of a lot about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I mean, we go on and on about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everyone's wearing pink. Everyone wears the ribbon. We need to fight, fight, fight for breast cancer awareness. And fight, fight, fight because all the feminists and all the women are about breast cancer awareness. But no one really talks about testicular cancer, right? Why aren't we talking about testicular cancer? Men should be allowed to save their balls, and women should want men to save their balls. Women should want men to have balls in the metaphorical sense and in the physical sense, right? But women are so intent on everything that has to do with women these days that they don't even really seem to care about men's needs. So we really need to prop up men and bring this more attention, right? So if you didn't know, it is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April, and people need to be talking about that, right? Yeah. And don't forget prostate cancer. Is it Prostate Awareness Month too? I don't know if it's prostate. Now, here's the other thing. So some other things happened this week. It was MLK, Martin Luther King Jr.'s anniversary of his death. No, it was his anniversary of his death. And everyone's up in arms talking about how race relations have gotten worse and we have so much work to do still. We've got so much work to do. Senator Kamala Harris, she says, well, I'll go into that in a minute, but everyone's talking about how we need to have better race relations. And here's the thing. You know that Dr. Martin Luther King said a very famous statement in his speech that he says, I have a dream that one day people will judge people by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. Remember that? I sure do. And guess what? We did actually start judging people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. That's what we started coming around to. We started actually becoming more of a colorblind culture. At least I thought so. I never saw people for the color of their skin. And I know a lot of people, most people I knew didn't. And then all of a sudden, a man named Obama came around. And then all of a sudden, this man became president. The first black president. You would think that would be a huge win for blacks. But no. You know what he did? He made race relations 10 times worse. He created divisions. He made it all about the color of one's skin. He made it all about fanning the flames of resentment between blacks and whites. Now we've never seen it this bad. I think this is worse than where it was in MLK's time. I wasn't around in MLK's time, but from what I've known about guys, and I've read a lot of books and I've heard a lot of people of color, so correct me if I need to stay in my lane. But from what I've heard is that even back in the day when there was more outward racism, there still was a general respect. There was still a general more, people were more civil with each other, blacks and whites. And there was racism in the culture, but in private, they were more respectful to each other. Am I right? Am I wrong? And now it's just gotten so bad where they're literally, there's like the Root magazine, which is racist article after racist article after racist article every day, right? There's so many different articles and there's so much race baiting that goes on every day. And they literally, now it's the new thing to describe people as black, or a white woman did this, a black woman did this, a person of color did this. Well, why are we describing people like that anyways? Why don't you just say an American or a citizen or someone who lived in this county or something, right? Oh, you guys want to know my age? My last statement gave away my age. I don't know. I didn't know you guys were wanting to know my age. I'm somewhere between the ages of 29 and 33. Okay, so Kamala Harris. Yeah, I know, right? You know, I still can't see the YouTube stream, so I'm hoping, and I'm sorry that I can't read your comments on YouTube, because it's not showing up on my side at least. I can't see it. I'm not seeing it. So unfortunately, I apologize that I can't engage with you guys. So I'll have to figure it out over the weekend and see it on Monday. Kamala Harris, good old Kamala Harris, who has an Indian mother and a Jamaican father, as if that's of any help to anybody. But so she just talked about following a high-profile police shooting of unarmed civilians around the country. So she's talking about how it's even more important to push training for police officers on bias and use of force. So she created a statewide program that she has now trained 2,000 officers to avoid having their biases influence their ability to use the appropriate level of force. And here's what I have to say about this. I have to say that this is exactly the same thing that I say to feminists who talk about, is that better? This is what I say to feminists who talk about, you know, we need to just put men into more and more of these anti-sexual harassment programs and camps, basically, retrainment camps. Over and over and over again, men just have to get learned, they have to get schooled in sexual harassment. So what I have to say about that is that we can't then let people do their job. Police are supposed to use force when they need to. They're also supposed to just follow their instincts, or follow when someone's breaking the law. They're supposed to go after them, and they're supposed to do whatever they need to do to get that person detained, or to arrest them, or, you know, to slap a charge on them, whatever, to stop violence. They're supposed to follow their instincts. And just like men, they're supposed to follow their instincts. Are there bad seeds in every bunch? Yes. However, I think that when you put so much training into, now you have to be careful not to discriminate on the color of their skin. Now you have to, you have to really be careful that your unconscious biases are not influencing whether you arrest someone or not, whether you pull someone over or not, etc. Now you're cutting off that person's instincts. You're cutting off their ability to do their job properly. Because now they have in the back of their head, they're wondering, shoot, if I pull this person over and he happens to be black, am I going to get a racial discrimination charge against me? Am I going to get sued? Am I going to get fired? All this rubbish, yes. And it's really, it holds our people, our officers back from just doing their damn job, which is why they went to school and trained and became an officer, or in the military, or in the border control patrol, etc. This is bullshit. Let people do their jobs. And most importantly, who cares about racial discrimination? We just need to protect the country. We need to protect citizens. That should be number one. Why are we putting people's feelings over safety, over protection, over our citizens, right? It's ridiculous. We're literally putting people's feelings over facts. People's feelings are matter over damn protection and security of our country. And this is what makes me so upset. The border is just another thing. I am happy that Trump sent troops to the border this week. I think that's a fantastic move, because the Democrats sure are going to block him every step of the way. They're not going to let him build this wall. They're not going to let him protect the border when we have 1,500 people plus in a caravan about to invade our border and then ask for amnesty. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? No, we're not going to have this. We are not going to have this. I was just talking to someone last night, actually, when I was at the bar. He's in the National Guard. And he says they're all for it. He says this is this is what they're supposed to do. This is their job. And yet Democrats are saying, ooh, Trump is misusing, he's abusing the military. No, this is their job. And I heard it right from the source last night. Right? Right? That's what I have to say. So he's actually using them in the proper way. National Guard to guard the nation. Hello. So yes, he's doing it right. I think it's fantastic, and I think that we need it because guess what? If we don't have our borders, then we don't have a country. You know, we won't have a country. And all that people do when they cross the border illegally, a lot of them do commit crimes. A lot of them do bring in drugs. There's a lot of child trafficking going on. But nobody wants to talk about these very important things, right? Okay, so thanks for all the love. Thank you for all the love. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay, what's next on my topics? Oh, yes. The caravans are coming. Okay. I have another topic I want to talk to you about. How's everyone doing today, by the way? Is it your lunch break? Again, I apologize, YouTubers. I can't see you. Can't see you. Oops. Okay, let's talk about gender, the gender invasion. You want to hear something crazy? What just happened there? UC Davis now lists yo and z as gender neutral pronouns. Not now. The University of California, Davis, which used to be a respected university, along with a lot of other universities, by the way, they're handing out pamphlets. They're handing out pamphlets for how to use proper gender pronouns. And they've added a bunch of new, 8 different gender-neutral pronouns, including yo, z, a, n, and v. And of course, this is not an exhaustive list. Informing that students, you know what I hate? I hate ads. I don't like ads when I'm trying to read an article. The guide cautions that it is not an exhaustive list, informing that students that of any combination of pronouns is possible, and that some people might eschew pronouns altogether. Can you believe this? I mean, what is our country coming to when we hand out a list of gender pronouns? Right? We can't have this happen. We cannot have this happen, guys. This is destructive to our country. And anyone who can't see this is completely deranged. We need gender. Okay? We need the differences between men and women. Removing gender roles and insisting on gender irrelevancy, it eradicates the synergistic relationship between men and women, right? If there are no differences between males and females, and look at this, this is the way that it is going. Let's go back to the Periscope real quick, though. Bear with me while I figure all this software out. This is my second day using it. Back to the Periscope. Okay. Hey, everyone. Yes, I can see the Periscopers. I just can't see the YouTubers now. And last time I could see the YouTubers, but I couldn't see the Periscopers. Funny, right? So what do you think about all this gender neutrality stuff? I think it's bogus because you're a pretty smart English major. Thank you. Well, look at, number one, let's just call a spade here. We need to be real. And when, no, I'm seeing all of you guys in the Periscope. let's call a spade here, you guys. This isn't about the LGBTQIA, how many more letters, and by the way, how much do you want to make a bet they're going to add 10 more letters by the end of the year? This isn't about inclusiveness. This isn't about their equal opportunity. This isn't about all that, although the agenda will always disguise itself as that. This is about marginalizing those people who are cisgender and heterosexual and even Christians for that matter, right? That's what we're doing. We are trying to, that what they're trying to do is basically it's a continued attack on the family, on the traditional family, on traditional families, and the relationship between men and women, because they're bullying people and they're marginalizing anyone who says, hey, I actually believe in just two genders. I believe in there's being male and I believe in there being female, and that's it. And I also believe that heterosexual relationships are the norm. I believe that anything outside of heterosexual relationships, while tolerable and acceptable, they're not really the norm, right? God created us as man and woman, and they created us to be a synergistic, compatible team, a complementary team. So now by adding all these letters to LGBTQIA, and by the way, QIA is very vague too. It means you're questioning, even questioning your sexuality now is now considered a gender identity. But all of these letters and then all of these pronouns, what they're trying to do is make it so that it's weird if you're just heterosexual. It's weird if you are cisgender and you identify as, God forbid, the genitalia that you were born with. I'm a female, I have a vagina, I'm a girl. And I believe that there's only two genders. If you believe that, which is the truth, but if you believe that, now that's considered hate speech. Now that's considered the weird one, right? The abnormal one. And that's really what this is. And it's breaking down the family and it's breaking down our relationships, because for as long as when you have gender fluidity and transgenders, obviously you can't reproduce, right? And so, trigger warning, gender fluidity and transgenderism is not, you're not able to reproduce and you're not able to have a society succeed with a country full of gender fluid people. You just can't. So this is what the sinister gender agenda is, this gender mainstream agenda. It's not all innocent. It's not all let's protect LGBTQIA. It's really something that's really hurtful and harmful to people who are cisgender, people who just have heterosexual relationships, and also who believe in God, because it's marginalizing Christianity for that matter. If you believe in God, God believes that there's only two genders, and he believes in heterosexual relationships. So, right? Now all of a sudden Christians are the villains of the world. And what about this? What about Christian privilege? Have you heard about Christian privilege? It's a real thing, folks. Christian privilege. Let's talk about that. George Washington University, I believe, they just started a new course on dismantling Christian privilege. Crazy, right? College, okay, the reactions. Yeah, George Washington University Christian privilege seminar and why it was necessary. So let's talk about this real quick. And again, even if you are not a Christian, that's okay. You don't have to be a Christian, but can you at least see the outrage in this? Can you at least see that this is wrong to teach classes on Christian privilege? That's not okay. Oh, the QIA, the Q means questioning your sex. So anyone who's just even questioning what their sexuality is, questioning, or they're not even sure if they're straight, they're gay, maybe they're in the middle. That's what Q means. The I means intersexed, whatever that means. And the A means asexual. So you don't have a sex. Okay, Washington, D.C. George Washington University is hosting a training session today, April 5th, with the stated goal of helping students and faculty recognize and mitigate Christian privilege in their lives. Are you freaking kidding me? The 90-minute event, to be held in the campus Multicultural Student Service Center, is titled Christian Privilege. But our founding fathers were all Christian, right? Really? Really? How do Christians in the USA experience life in an easier way than non-Christians? Even with the separation of church and state, are there built-in advantages over non-Christians? This is ridiculous. This is so sad because as someone who actually does believe in Christian principles, me, I can tell you that Christians are actually the ones that are marginalized, and Christians are actually the ones that are constantly mocked all over the media. They're marginalized, and they're the ones that are, if anything, persecuted. And while liberals or atheists or godless people are the ones that are exalted in our country. I can't even take it. I can't leave without. Oh, wow, that's crazy. I can't take it. It is. It's just like, what's our country coming to? Where we're saying that Christians have privilege makes me so mad. These are the kinds of things that really make me mad. I'm pangry. Passionate and angry. Pangry. I'll read you a little chapter from my book, a little section from my book. This is in The Opposite of Sex. Gender transformation. Okay? The gender fluid mainstreaming is being promoted as harmless, normal, and even beneficial and cool. But if you don't see the enormous harm this will create for our society and for relationships, then you're clearly just buying into the narrative. Do you know, oh, this is very important too. So if there's no differences between males and females, and gender will be totally irrelevant, then men and women will also no longer feel attracted to each other, okay? Do you know what creates attraction and sexual chemistry? Our attraction and sexual chemistry and passion is created from our opposite. It's called sexual polarity. So we need our opposite masculine and feminine energies in order to experience that sexual polarity and in order to have chemistry. So when you neutralize the genders and make it so that men and women are 100% equal in every way, shape, and form, and there's no differences, well, then you cancel out sexual chemistry. You cancel out passion. If gender isn't irrelevant, and if there's nothing wrong with advocating for genders to be neutral, then why are women and men having such a hard time attracting each other, right? It's because gender is relevant. And when masculine and feminine energies are neutralized, the result is zero sexual attraction. Okay? Here's another thing. And by the way, you know that breastfeeding is now changed to chest feeding? Chest feeding, right? So now it's not even breastfeeding, it's chest feeding, so that boys, men, transsexuals, they can breastfeed too, and they will breastfeed. Have you ever seen a picture of a man breastfeeding before? It's really creepy. I wouldn't recommend seeing it. You can't unsee it. Thanks for the loves, thanks for the hearts. So here's something that I was to say. So, this delay must be 1 minute or so. Hard to respond timely. Oh, wow. It must be a minute. God is removed from our society. So the idea that gender is nothing but an irrelevant social construct as opposed to a deliberate design created by God is obviously an atheist, anti-God perspective. And when we're at the point where quietly believing in basic Christian principles is now considered hate speech and bigotry, then Christians officially become the villains of the world. Just like the vanilla ice cream cone, anyone who stands up for God's intention, or even for basic truth or common sense for that matter, is either bullied until they bend their beliefs or they get vilified and ostracized from society. Reasons men like Tim Allen. Yes, I love Tim Allen. What do you think about Tim Allen? And here's the other thing. You know, when we have a society that is so focused on gender, on these asinine things, like, have you ever even followed gender neutral people or two-spirit people? I came across a two-spirit the other day in YouTube, and all they do is talk about their gender, their sexuality, how they feel like a boy today or they feel like a girl today. I'm sorry, but when you're so self-obsessed like that and all you can do is focus on what gender you are or what bathroom that you're going to use, how can you possibly have space for a relationship? How can you possibly have enough energy and space to give to another person to actually have a healthy or a successful relationship? You can't. All you're doing is focused on yourself and this asinine self-obsession, and it's making us a society of narcissists and stupid idiots, right? I hate to say it, but it's true. Hey newbies! Nice to see you guys here. Equality does not mean sameness in every way, shape, and form. Yes, society should strive for equal opportunities for both men and women, but to believe that equality is something that needs to be forced by government as opposed to something that's just God-given only serves to further oppress women and also men. I'll be on again on Monday at 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So what we need in our country is, I would like a country that we stop focusing so much on these stupid things like cultural appropriation or what gender we are, what bathroom to use. We focus on, you know, who's being racist today, who is being, I don't know, a bigot today. And let's focus on the things that actually make our country great, shall we? Let's line up behind President Trump, who's doing a fantastic job amid 99 different forces that are trying to keep him down, and rally behind him in the things that are really big in our country, the things that are really going to make our country better, you know, and the things that we need to worry about together. For as long as we're fighting with ourselves and we're fighting with other people, we can't be focused on the actual things that unite us. And if I were someone who was fighting for this country, literally, if I was in the military and I was risking my life every day to fight and to keep our country safe, I would be so pissed coming home from being deployed and seeing our country fighting amongst each other and going up in flames over something so stupid as cultural appropriation or what historical statue to rip down next. Can you believe now we're ripping down another statue? Attention hogs. Yeah, let's talk about hogs. What do you guys think about David Hogg? I think he's a spoiled little brat, and my heart would go out to the victims, the true survivors of Parkland and the other shootings, if they acted like normal human beings who just went through a horrible tragedy and who lost 17 of their best friends. Normal human beings who go through a tragedy like that, who lose their best friends, they don't go immediately all over the news without even shedding a tear and immediately talking about the one thing that didn't contribute to the deaths of these people, which is a gun or NRA, right? Wish Trump was not so braggadocious. Barf. What's barf? Well, yeah, I mean, we you know, I would have much more credibility and empathy for the victims and for the survivors of Parkland if they weren't all over the news 24/7, stomping on these kids' graves and bullying people like Laura Ingraham and trying to rip out her whole career and trying to rip up our Constitution. I would have a little more empathy for these children. And by the way, they're not children, they're teenagers. They're almost adults. David Hogg is probably 27, let's be honest, right? And the one person that they're not talking about is the actual shooter, Nicholas Cruz. They also, the other things they're not addressing at all are the 39 times that the FBI was called. Or what about all the different breakdowns in his mental health, all the different breakdowns like the 4 deputies who sat on their butts doing nothing while the shooting was going on. Why aren't we talking about any of that? Oh, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Doesn't fit the narrative for taking down the NRA, dismantling the NRA, and taking away our guns. The other thing that they're not talking about, have you noticed that there was just a YouTube shooting a couple days ago, but no one's talking about it? No one, not a peep. David Hogg, where are you? Why aren't you talking about the YouTube shooter? I don't know. Maybe because she was Muslim? Maybe because she's not white and it doesn't fit your narrative? But it's very funny how CNN and everyone else, no one's really talking about that shooting. In fact, they pretty much buried it. And this is why, again, I have no credibility for these Parkland survivors. I don't have any credibility for this movement because it's only there to further a narrative. It's only there for a gun grab. Right? Let's be honest. Is it true or is it not true? In fact, what I like to do sometimes, just because I think it's so ridiculous, is pull out David Hogg's Twitter. Do any of you guys like to pull up his Twitter account? I'm not going to give him a follow, but sometimes I like to read just what ridiculous things that he's spewing. David Hogg is a bully. That's a hashtag going on right now. Yeah, the YouTube shooter is past news already. It's like, oh, okay, we don't even talk about it. What's the difference, right? What's the difference? Who here thinks that David Hogg is really like 25? Who here thinks that David Hogg is a crisis actor? I avoid it like the plague so I don't get sick. That's hilarious. So here's the thing, political correctness. I want to talk about political correctness. Political correctness, just like on the topic of gender, right? We have to be politically correct to avoid hurting people's feelings, right? Political correctness, all it is a Marxist weapon. It's a weapon that they use to keep people controlled. And it's a very effective weapon, by the way, because it keeps people controlled, keeps people stifled and fighting each other. It keeps people down. It keeps people stupid and self-absorbed. And it keeps people distracted and focused on petty little things instead of the bigger things, like achieving success, achieving great things in the world. It keeps people focused on feelings instead of facts. And it embeds the belief in people that feelings are more important than facts, right? Here's another interesting thing. An Iowa transgender teen just enrolled at an all-boys state school, and it's a girl. I'm tired of the 1%, who are transgenders or who want to be, identify as a boy or girl, ruining it for everybody else. We need some separate sexes thing. We need some separate spaces for men and for women. He isn't 17. Yeah, I agree. I think he's 25. I think he's 30. YouTube was a CGI actor. Nah, I can't give Hogg a minute of my time. He has Andy Milonakis syndrome. That's funny. Yeah, there is quite a bit of a delay. I think it's about a minute or so. So, yes, political correctness is only a Marxist weapon. And have you noticed, like, everyone always says, oh, Trump is so, the way he talks is just so politically incorrect. And I miss the way Obama talked. He talked so diplomatically. He talked with such dignity and tact. Like, really? How? It's a really sad world that we live in where the way that someone talks is more important than someone's policies, than someone's heart, than the things that they actually do, the results that they get. So people would rather have a character like Obama run the country just because he talks nicely and he talks with dignity. Basically, he talks from a written script, rather than someone who talks off the cuff, who isn't scripted, and he follows his instincts and follows his heart. That is where a country is going wrong. And this is the problem with most liberals, is all they want to do is talk and not walk. All they want to do is have an appearance, have a front, instead of having a heart. And they're the ones, this is why I think it's so hilarious what's happening with Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels, the storm that just won't go away. Stormy Daniels, all that he does, all that she's there for is a distraction. This is just one more attempt to try to bring him down, right? It's Stormy. They want to use it. They're grasping at straws, and Stormy is that last card in the deck, or at least I hope it's the last card in the deck, or the last straw that they want to take him down. And to me, it's sad because these are it's a joke. Like, these are liberals that are complaining about Stormy Daniels, who may or may not have had consensual sex one time with Trump over 12 years ago. May or may not have. This is all alleged. And she's a porn star. And the left is outraged by this. They're fiending outrage. But this is the political party that glorifies sex and violence all over the media 24/7. This is the party that mocks God, that constantly makes fun of and ridicules Christian values, that ridicules chastity, that ridicules sexual modesty, that ridicules monogamy constantly, and anything having to do with self-respect or self-control or discipline, right? Or having just our traditional American values and relationships. And they're the ones that are fiending outrage over Stormy Daniels, the porn star, having sex with him consensually over a decade ago. I mean, this is why I just can't take them seriously, and this is why I can't take anything that they throw out there seriously. It's not. She's Riot the last card, not even close. I hope she is, but I doubt she is. They've got a lot of more cards in the deck, I'm sure. I like your brain. You make sense. I haven't heard any of that lately. Thank you. I like to speak in facts. I like to speak logically. You know, there's no use beating around the bush. Most importantly, we need love. We need love in the world. We don't need hate. And unfortunately, the left is all full of hate. All they are, their heart, if they even have a heart, is just filled with hate and divisiveness. And they're focused on everything that they can do to divide the country up and to divide people up. The left starts class wars. They have ignited race wars. They have ignited gender wars, wars between the genders, wars among the classes and the races. And all they want to do is ignite more wars. They don't want united. They don't want our country united. They want us divided, because if we're divided, we're easier to control. If we're united, then we put our energy and focus onto creating, into achieving positive things, into each other. We focus on our relationships. We focus on building families. We focus on God. So this is why that's the biggest threat to them, is when we're focusing on relationships and family, because we don't need the savior, the state, to step in and have us dependent on them. But we want love. Trump has created his own drama, though, don't you think? I I think it's a lot deeper than that. I don't think that Trump really, I think what he's doing the best he can at trying to ward off all these attacks, these slings and arrows that he gets every single day. So I think that he shouldn't take the bait. A lot of times the media baits him and they throw something out there, and then he takes the bait, and then he punches. He punches even further than they originally punched him. And I think that's what gets him in trouble, because then it takes away from his message, and then it takes away from his results. And what's really important is we need to focus on his results, the results he's actually doing for our country. And when he says snarky things in the media, or he tweets things that are just kind of immature or ridiculous, unfortunately it just takes away from his message. And that's my problem with Trump. Yeah, I agree that he should be more mature. He should be classier. And there's a way to be the bigger person in things. You know, I always taught that if someone ridicules you in public, or someone has beef with you, when you can step up and emerge as the bigger person by handling it with class and not stooping to their level of name calling or embarrassing them, ridiculing them, then you actually, people are more endeared to you. You come out looking like the hero, right? You come out looking like the classier person. And this is what I wish that he did more of. I wish that he was more, just didn't take their bait. Because then people would love and respect him more. They would see what his supporters see. When he only responds with punches, then we don't get, people don't get to see his heart, because all that does is keep it going. It spins their wheels more and more. Yeah, I'm wondering what more. I don't know if anyone follow QAnon. I follow QAnon a lot, but he said that Trump was up all night the other night. He said POTUS was up all night, pray for him. And I was waiting. He said, watch the news. And that was yesterday. I watched the news. I don't know. I didn't really see anything significant. Did you guys? Well, I guess he has produced results. In fact, if they are his, it sounds like whoever keeps talking wanderous sounds like you're a typical leftist. All you do is listen to the MSM. Because everything the MSM does is negate everything that Trump does. So whenever he has a victory, whenever he's created results, the MSM goes and spins it and writes up a story real quick about how that result actually wasn't his, how it had been laid in. It had been laid in already. The steps had been taken by Obama or previous administrations, and then everyone eats all that up. So there's absolutely zero that Trump could do. I literally think he can cure cancer, and leftists won't believe that, because all they do is hear the spin from MSM saying, oh, he didn't actually do that. Oh, it wasn't actually his effort that made that happen. So I don't know. Now you're starting, whoever's that wanderous, you're starting to sound like a typical leftist. I know that many of his results are actually his, but I'm not here to argue with you. Okay, guys, I am going to have to wrap up in a minute. But I'll be back again on Monday, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30. Sorry, 9:30 to 10:30, which is 12:30 to 1:30 Pacific time. But I am thinking, by the way, I'm thinking about doing it a half hour earlier, from 9 to 10 instead of 9:30 to 10:30. What do you guys think about that? I'm thinking about maybe moving my podcast earlier, because then more people could watch it, right? If they're taking a lunch break and they're on the East Coast, then more people could watch it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. The keys, guys, to having a strong America, though, we don't need to rely on a president, but what we need to do is rely on ourselves, because we can create our own results in many ways. The keys are family, love, our personal relationships, our connections, and our American values. These values are the glue that has held our society, and especially this great country, together for so long, so well. And it's the glue that has been dissolved over the last 100 years, maybe 60 years. And we have the right to pursue our own life, liberty, and happiness. Work on yourself. Work on living a meaningful life that you are proud of, and find a partner who you can go on this wild and crazy ride with. It's much more fun going through this roller coaster ride with a journey mate, don't you think? Rather than flying solo. Don't seek perfection in a partner. Just seek a great connection. Hotness is a dime a dozen, but character in a connection is a rarity these days. Guys, I think you're amazing, and thank you so much for all the love. Thank you for all the hearts and the comments. You guys are amazing. And I will be back on Monday, 9:30 a.m. You guys are awesome. Make sure you follow me at DeAnna Lorraine 7 on Twitter, DeAnna Lorraine 7, and go to my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel on DeAnna Lorraine 7 on my YouTube. And again, I am sorry for the YouTubers that were commenting. I love you, but I couldn't see you. For some reason, I could not see you. I can only see the periscopers today. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to ignore you, but I'm going to figure out the software before Monday so I can make sure that I'm hanging out with the periscopers and hanging out with the YouTubers. All right, guys. Love you. I'm going to go off to my TV show, The Patriot and the Preacher, and I'll post a link when that TV show is live as well. Bye. Mwah.